The show really revolves around the idea of public space and how we utilise it, its intricacies, intimacies, and the role that social relations, technology, language, communication all play in the way that we interact with it. Jiří Kovanda was born in 1953 in Prague. He started making works in the 1970s, which were really interventions into public space. They involved things like going up an escalator and turning around and looking in the eye of the person behind him, or moving water from one part of a river to another. And it's important that you know that at that time in Prague was being occupied by Soviet troops, and so artistic production really had been very curtailed at that point. So any kind of artwork was really quite a political act. Although Jiří himself doesn't consider these works to be political, he doesn't consider himself to be a political artist as such. I think that really what he's interested in is intimacy in public space. So at that time he was aware that intimacy and social relations were becoming very strained in the outside world, and so he wanted to try to address that by making these kind of gestures. Intimate moments, in particular with strangers, can bring out all sorts of reactions. I think laughter is certainly one of them. I think he also has a very dry humour. You can see it in a lot of his work. On the top floor here we have documentation of some of his more recent performances from around 2002 onwards, which again show a very dry sense of humour. In one, he was going around the art fair FIAC at the opening, and putting sweets in people's bags without them noticing. So he's very interested in humour and the role that can play with social relations. His work Kiss is one of his more famous performances, apart from his work in the 70s, of course. And he set up he didn't set up a space. In Tate Modern there's a large glass wall just next to the restaurant. And he stood on one side of the glass and invited visitors and audience members to come up and kiss him through the glass. He's performed that in a couple of other places, and it's very popular. I think it makes people feel something very strange and strong when you go up and kiss someone you don't know on the lips, but separated by glass. I think it's a really good example of his interest in public intimacy and the way that we interact together.